We don't feel good. We don't feel right. We feel like we're depleted. We feel like we are selling ourselves. We feel like we're forgiven too much. Is there a thing like forgiven too much? Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back if you're familiar with my content, with my videos. My name is Strange, I'm a psychologist, and for the last 10 years I've been creating online courses on psychology, self-development related topics on spirituality as well. And before that I was teaching at university, I was a researcher in psychology. But parallel to that, I was always exploring spirituality, and you can hear about my personal stories from my other videos. So in some of my videos, I am sharing with you content which is psychology, Western and Islamic psychology based, or Islamic counseling, psychotherapy, and so on. So I try to bring the best of both worlds. We are all familiar with various techniques, cognitive behavioral therapy, for example, acceptance and commitment therapy, and so on in Western psychology, which are great and they work, but also there is something perhaps you will be discovering with me, Islamic psychology, which is looking at the holistic way of treating various mental health disorders. And they don't have to be actual disorders. They can be something that we are facing day to day, like our emotional ups and downs. When we're struggling to accept certain emotions or process them, this is when we can turn to various techniques, whether it's a Western or Islamic psychology. So without further ado, in this video, let's have a look at this topic: why boundaries upset people. And if you are on your spiritual journey and you call yourself a spiritual person or religious person, then you know that we are taught to be very patient and forgiving towards everyone. The problem arises when we are facing with difficult challenges in various relationships, whether it's our family members, whether it's our friends or significant others. And when the relationships turn a bit toxic, they are not healthy, and we cannot distinguish the healthy from unhealthy anymore, or whether we forgive too many times, we are patient to the expense of our own mental well-being. We don't feel good, we don't feel right, we feel like we're depleted, we feel like we are selling ourselves, we feel like we're forgiven too much. Is there a thing like forgiven too much? Again, in spirituality and religion, we're supposed to forgive, we're supposed to accept. But let me tell you, sometimes it is very important to take a step back before you will get burnout. So let's try to understand when enough is enough and how to create those boundaries with other people in order to preserve your own mental health and well-being. Because let's consider this: if you are not feeling great, then you cannot help to anyone. If you are not happy with yourself or content with where you are, then you cannot share your love with others, in your family, your parents, your children, and so on. And consider this as well: you are not a bad spiritual person or a bad Muslim if you are saying enough is enough. People often love the version of you that's convenient for them. The version that says yes, never complains, always listens, never needs space. So when you decided that you have your own boundaries and your own limits, and you decided to start setting boundaries with those people, then you disrupt that dynamic. And that forces others to confront their own entitlement, expectations, or even guilt. Let me explain. In psychology, this can trigger narcissistic injury or codependence rupture, especially in unhealthy relationships. Here is a good quote for you to reflect on: people who benefit from your lack of boundaries will always see them as an attack. People who benefit from your lack of boundaries will always see them as an attack. So what is boundary? A boundary is a clear line that protects your emotional, mental, or physical well-being. From psychology, we have various types of boundaries: physical, emotional, time boundary, conversational, spiritual. If you don't define those boundaries and if you don't set them, poor boundaries lead to burnout, resentment towards other people, loss of identity, and people-pleasing. Do you recognize any of them in you? The core developmental tasks that we look at therapy are assertiveness, how to be assertive, how to say no when you really mean, when you feel that you cannot do it or will not do certain things, and the idea of fawn response, which we use in trauma psychology. This is when people avoid conflict by pleasing others. And many spiritual people fall into this unconsciously. Now let's bridge Islamic psychology and tradition. Islam is a religion of balance between patience, which we know as sabr, and self-respect, rahmah, which is mercy, and responsibility. The Prophet, peace be upon him, set boundaries with kindness. He didn't let everyone into his personal space. He had his own personal time, he had his privacy, and he knew how to set boundaries with kindness. And Quran encourages us speak good or stay silent. So we are taught that there are some boundaries in speech also. There is an ayah from Quran that says, do not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. This applies to emotional burdens too. This is our own emotional burden. So Islam never asks you to destroy your own soul in order to keep others comfortable or happy. Your peace matters too. So what to do when other people react badly when you put your boundaries? Well, they may guilt you. They can say something like, you've changed, and they don't mean it from a positive perspective. They might try to shame you. They can say something like, that's not what a good Muslim does, or a good spiritual person. But boundaries, they protect the relationship. They don't ruin it, unless the relationship was built on imbalance and gone already toxic. This is what you need to remember. You can say no and still be spiritual. You can walk away with love and kindness. You can honor God, Allah, by honoring yourself. So setting boundaries doesn't make you less spiritual. It makes your spirituality real. Your heart matters. Your needs matter. And Allah sees the truth in your intentions. And God, or you can say divinity, Allah sees the truth in your intentions. So where in your life you are being available at the cost of your own peace? Let's reflect on it. Think about all those people that you tend to please, sacrificing your own needs, your own well-being. Now say this to yourself. I am allowed to have limits. I am allowed to protect my heart. So here's what you've learned from this video. There is a term which is called codependency. This is when your sense of worth depends on others' approval. There is something called fawn response, which we refer to as trauma response, where you constantly appease to avoid rejection. We have something which is called emotional burnout in psychology, which means a state of exhaustion from prolonged people-pleasing or boundary violations. This is what will happen if we continue doing this kind of behavior just to please others in order to avoid conflicts, or when we are too afraid to set up boundaries. And we also have in Islamic psychology tazkiyah, which is purification, and that includes self-awareness and emotional mastery and choosing what's right over what's easy. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and found something new. If you would like to share your own story or your situation, please write it in the comments below. If you like this content related to psychology and Islamic psychology, then please subscribe for more, and I will see you in one of my next videos.